Welcome to the Kendo and Attire podcast in this English language version. Enjoy listening.
When you watch practitioners of, say, kendo or iaido, you can't help but notice the uniform. That heavy cotton jacket, the grego, and especially those really wide, dark pleated trousers, the hakama. They look so different from any modern athletic gear, and yet people say they're absolutely central to the practice. It's not just about looking historical, is it?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's definitely not just historical fashion. If you're doing these arts, that uniform itself, it's essential training equipment.
Right.
And it's steeped in, centuries, maybe millennia of philosophy.
Right.
So our mission today is really to do a deep dive on this. We want to look at the practical side, the philosophy behind it, the technical bits of wearing it, caring for it, the keikogi and hakama.
Okay.
We're pulling together insights from instruction manuals, community wisdom too, to show that this isn't just clothing, it's really a manifestation of respect, of discipline.
Wow.
The whole process, putting it on, taking it off, that is training.
I find that really fascinating, that the simple act of getting dressed is part of the discipline itself. It suggests there's this immediate mental switch that happens when you tie that belt.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's start with that philosophical underpinning you mentioned, reiho. Now, for someone new walking into a dojo, that word usually just means, the bowing, the formal rules.
Right, the ceremony.
Yeah, the strict ceremony. But how do our sources define reiho beyond that? What's the deeper meaning?
Well, if we look at the bigger picture, reiho isn't just ceremony. The sources define it more broadly as the correct and universal way of doing things.
The universal way.
Yeah, it's a pretty profound concept, actually. It runs through all sorts of Japanese social and professional interactions. It signifies deep respect. So in the dojo context, it means showing respect for everything, the space, your teacher, your fellow students, even the equipment you use.
Okay, so how does that abstract idea, that universal correctness, translate directly to what you're wearing, to the uniform?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. The uniform kind of acts as a physical mirror for your mental state.
Yeah, a mirror. How so?
Proper, dignified dressing. And that means your gear is perfectly clean, well-kept, worn absolutely correctly.
Yeah.
It demonstrates what the sources call a visible depth of practice.
Ah, okay.
So conversely, if someone's uniform is sloppy, maybe wrinkled, dirty, tied wrong, it's seen as a really tangible lack of reiho.
Right. It's immediately obvious.
Exactly. It kind of suggests you haven't quite grasped that fundamental importance of discipline that, underpins the whole art.
So the way you present yourself is literally the first sign of respect for the art you're about to practice. That actually makes a lot of sense. Now, let's switch gears a bit to the purely practical side, especially those really distinctive wide hakama. Let's unpack this. Why that really dramatic, almost skirt-like shape?
Right. The hakama has this crucial dual function. It's really rooted deep in combat tradition. First, the obvious one maybe. Yeah. Movement. That wide cut, the deep pleats, they just give you much greater freedom of movement than regular trousers would. Sure. This is essential for certain techniques, like the powerful stamping step, fumikomi you see in kendo, or for holding a low, controlled crouch, which is called sonkyu.
Okay, so freedom of movement. But you said dual function. What's the second part? That sounds more tactical.
Exactly right. The second function is concealment.
Concealment.
Yeah. Think about combat, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's sword fighting or empty hand. An experienced opponent is always reading subtle shifts in your lower body, your knees, your feet. They're trying to anticipate your intention.
Like, are you about to step, shift weight, attack?
Precisely.
Yeah.
So those 7 folds in the hakama, they're deliberately designed to hide that crucial movement.
No way.
Yeah, it obscures your leg work, hides your intention, makes it much harder for the opponent to read what you're about to do.
So it's actively hiding tactical information.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, and just quickly, what about the jacket itself, the gi? Does that have a function beyond just covering up?
It definitely does. The thicker, heavy cotton of the gi gives you essential protective layering.
Protection.
Yeah, in kendo, for instance, it's critical protection against stray strikes to parts of the body not covered by the armor. The kotu for the wrists or the do for the chest.
Right.
And beyond that, the material itself matters. That thick cotton is vital for absorbing sweat, way better than typical synthetic athletic fabrics. Helps manage your body temp and moisture during really intense practice.
Makes sense. Keeps you focused.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's move into the actual act of getting ready.
Yeah.
If reiho dictates how the uniform should look, it must start right at the beginning with the foundation, the gi jacket. There seems to be a really rigid rule about how it needs to be crossed. Is there a specific reason for that?
Oh, there's a very specific, traditional, and absolutely non-negotiable rule. The left side must be crossed over the right side.
Left over right, always. Always. So right side goes inside, closest to the body. And this is, it's a critical cultural detail in daily practice. Because if you did it the other way, right side over left, that's how you dress a corpse for burial in Japan.
Wow. Okay, so that immediately raises the stakes on getting it right every single time.
Absolutely. It's immediate shorthand for cultural awareness or lack thereof.
Got it. And the tying process for the jacket itself, the himo, the ties, that's also formalized, right? To get that neat, flat finish so it doesn't bulk up under the hakama belts.
Precisely. You want that aesthetic and functional stability, so you start by crossing the upper-outer bands, kind of like an L shape across your chest.
Okay.
Then you take the inner left band and tie it with the sewn-in band on the right side inside. That forms your primary loop or bow.
Right.
And here's the crucial technical detail, the one that really shows a diligent student, the finished bow, the loop in the ends. They all need to be symmetrical, exactly the same length. And crucially, they must lie horizontally, flat against your abdomen.
Horizontally. Why horizontal? Is that just looks?
It's practical, too. If the knot is vertical, sticking out, it creates a lump, a bulge. And that interferes with putting the hakama belts on smoothly. It makes it uncomfortable when you move, or especially when you put on the dado, the chest armor. A flat, horizontal knot is stable. It maintains that dignified, clean presentation we talked about. That's riho.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, before we get into the multi-step ritual of tying the hakama, there was a piece of advice that seemed to pop up across different disciplines, something practical for modesty and comfort.
Yes, this is a really critical point. The manuals don't always spell it out, but the community, practitioners, strongly emphasize this.
What is it?
The general consensus, a strong recommendation really, is to wear shorts or maybe tight athletic pants underneath the hakama.
Like an underlayer.
Exactly. It just ensures decency. Because the hakama is so wide, right? It can potentially shift or loosen during really vigorous training.
Sure, I can see that happening.
So having that base layer
Yeah.
means you could just focus entirely on your technique without any distraction or worry about, well, exposure. It lets you practice with full commitment.
All right, here's where the architecture of the uniform gets really interesting. Tying the hakama correctly, it looks like a 7-step ritual, and it definitely seems to confuse beginners. It's like complex, knotting, precision engineering.
It really is. It takes practice.
Yeah.
Think of it in 2 main stages. First, securing the front, then anchoring the back.
Okay.
The first 3 steps are all about stabilizing the front of the garment.
Step 1.
1, you step into the hakama. Make sure the top edge is positioned perfectly, ideally just below your navel.
Got it. Below the navel.
2, take those long front belts, they're called himo, wrap them around your back nice and snug, and bring them back to the front.
Okay, around the back, return to front.
3, now at the front center, you cross the right belt under the left belt. Pull it taut, nice and tight, to secure that front panel. Then take both ends around your waist again, to the back, and tie them securely. Usually a square knot or a bow knot at the rear. This foundation has to be firm and perfectly centered.
Okay, so that locks down the front. Then you move to the back section. The part with that stiff trapezoidal piece, this is where it seems structurally complex.
It is. The back section is crucial. It often features that piece you mentioned, the koshita. It's that sort of trapezoid shape that rests right on your lower back.
Right.
So, step 4. You position this koshita, and sometimes there's a plastic or stiff insert that goes with it, called a hakama dome or hira. You tuck that behind the knot you just tied with the front belts.
Oh, it slots in.
Exactly. And this isn't just reinforcement. The stiffness and the height of the koshita are actually designed to encourage and help you maintain good posture, which is, the foundation of all Budo practice.
So it helps you stand straight. Interesting. Okay, step 5.
5. Now you bring the 2 rear belts forward. These are usually shorter than the front ones. You cross them beneath the top edge at the front, but you reverse the order from before. This time, the left belt goes under the right.
Left under right for the back belts. Got
So
it.
6. Then you take that right rear belt, bring it up, and under the left rear belt, then feed it under all the layers of the front belts you already have there at the front center. Finally, you knot it tightly with the left rear belt.
Wow. Okay, that sounds like a lot of overlapping cordage. Why so many layers of knotting there?
That double layer of crossing and knotting, it makes absolutely sure the hakama will not slip down, even during really strenuous movement. which is critical, right, for both the tactical concealment aspect and just the practitioner's comfort and focus.
Makes sense. Don't want it falling down mid-kata. Okay, final step.
7, the final touch, the thing that defines the finished look. You take the free ends of those rear belts you just tied, and you tuck them neatly over all the front belts, usually tucking them back under themselves or into the sides. It hides the ends, creates a clean vertical line, and completes the whole structure.
It really is remarkable. So much engineering just to secure a piece of clothing. And what about the finish length? You mentioned concealment, so the length must be important.
Oh, absolutely critical. If it's too long, you're going to trip over it. Guaranteed.
Right.
If it's too short, well, you lose that concealment advantage for your footwork. The ideal correct length is to have the hem just brush the tops of your feet, or maybe sit right at the ankle bone.
Okay.
That ensures you get the maximum tactical benefit of hiding your footwork without actually impeding your ability to move, especially for techniques needing deep stances or quick steps.
So practice is done, the uniform is probably pretty sweaty, and now comes that moment of truth that seems to define every Budo practitioner's life outside the dojo laundry day. How on earth do you keep this uniform clean without completely destroying those 7 crucial pleats in the hakama? I imagine anyone who's accidentally thrown their hakama in a regular wash cycle knows exactly why this is mandatory knowledge.
Yes, that's definitely a rite of passage for almost every new student, ruining your first hakama.
Yeah.
The maintenance mandate, as you call it, is really the final ongoing expression of Reiho.
Ah, it connects back again.
Absolutely. If you treat the uniform with disrespect during cleaning, you're basically undermining the discipline you just showed on the dojo floor.
Right. So how do you do it properly? Does it depend on the material?
Yes, care really depends on the material. If you're lucky enough to have synthetics like Tetron or polyester blends, they're much easier. They can usually be machine washed. Use a cold, delicate cycle, though. Definitely cold. If you have a traditional cotton gi, the jacket, you treat it more like, a treasured pair of jeans, maybe. Wash it cold. And always, always air dry it. Heat will shrink it and wear it out much faster.
Air dry the cotton gi. Got it. Does the hakama itself need washing as often as the jacket?
No, thankfully not. The hakama generally doesn't need washing nearly as often as the keikogi because the gi absorbs most of the sweat and direct skin contact.
That's a relief.
It is. But when you do wash the hakama, those pleats are your #1 enemy, or challenge, let's say.
Right. How do you protect them?
Well, practitioners have tricks. Some recommend using large safety pins along the edge of each pleat to hold them together. Or even better, folding the hakama carefully first, then securing it inside a dedicated mesh laundry bag.
Ah, laundry bag.
Yeah, that helps keep the folds aligned, even tumbling around in a delicate cycle.
Yeah.
If you fail to do something like this, well, you are committing yourself to a very long, very careful ironing session afterwards.
Been there, done that with other pleated things. Not fun.
Exactly. And a warning, you'd be really careful with heat, especially on synthetic hakama. Too much heat, like from an iron that's too hot, can cause the fabric to get shiny. And that's considered a pretty significant aesthetic flaw. Ruins the look.
Okay, so the care ritual goes way beyond just the washing machine. The final, really critical piece of maintenance has to be the folding, doesn't it?
It is the absolute final act of discipline for that practice session. The most critical Reiho element after washing, or frankly, even after a dry practice where you didn't sweat much, is the deliberate, painstaking, careful folding of the hakama.
Painstaking sounds right.
It really is. This folding process, it forces you to be slow, precise, attentive. It is literally mental training disguised as just tidying up.
Can you give us the simplified highlights of that folding process? It looks complicated.
It's all about sequential precision. You lay the garment flat on the floor, front side up first, smooth out both the internal pleats and those 5 external pleats you can see. Make sure they're crisp.
Okay, smooth the front.
Next, you flip it over carefully to the back. Smooth out the entire rear section, including its pleats. Then you meticulously lay the long front belts, the hemo, flat on top of the fabric, followed by the shorter back belts laid neatly on top of those.
Belts on top.
Right. Finally, you fold the outer edges inward towards the center, kind of enclosing the belts inside the fabric. Then you fold the bottom third up towards the center, and then the top third down over that, creating this neat, perfectly aligned rectangle.
A neat rectangle.
Yeah. Every single fold needs to be sharp and straight. No wrinkles, no bunching. This folding ensures the garment keeps its structural integrity, keeps those pleats sharp, and is ready, perfectly presented for the next practice. It reinforces the student's own preparedness and, frankly, their self-respect. Hashtag tag tag outro.
So, okay, what does this all really mean then? We've done this deep dive into what might just look like an old-fashioned uniform, but we've learned it's so much more. It's a piece of functional training gear. We've kind of established three big takeaways, haven't we? First, the uniform is deeply tied to respect, to reiho, which demands rigorous cleanliness and correctness in how you wear and handle it.
That's key.
Second, it has these really crucial functional purposes, primarily protection for the person wearing it, but also that fascinating tactical concealment of intention from an opponent.
Right. The hiding of the footwork.
Yeah. And third, maintenance the washing, and especially that painstaking folding. It isn't just chores after practice. It's an integrated part of the discipline itself.
Beautifully summarized. That understanding really forces us to think about the connection between, the physical world around us and our own inner discipline.
How so?
Well, if our clothing and our equipment are meant to reflect our inner state, our discipline, our respect, like, there's that old samurai saying that the state of a warrior's sword reflected his honor and it was his duty to keep it spotless.
Right.
Then what does the care we take, or maybe fail to take, in folding those complex pleats every single day say about our own power in repose, our readiness, our dedication?
That's a powerful thought.
So maybe a question for you, the listener, to mull over. What small, repetitive, daily ritual of care could you adopt right now, maybe something seemingly mundane, to deepen your own practice or your personal discipline, whatever that might be?
Something to think about the next time you're putting on or maybe just folding the laundry.
Exactly.
Thank you for listening to this podcast.
Kendo Iaido Italia, il podcast.